Let's have a listen in.
Institutions, including the new leadership or the incoming leadership of the World Bank on our own neighbourhood here in the Pacific. The best antidote to global economic uncertainty is responsible economic management here at home, and that's what the May budget will represent. We do have, as we've said in this room a number of times, we do have a lot coming at us, but we do have a lot going for us as well. Low unemployment, high prices for our exports, and both of those things are helping the budget right now, but the pressures on the budget are intensifying after that, and that's obviously a big focus as well as we finalise the second budget to be handed down at the beginning of May. The budget will be about three things. Cost of living help without blowing the budget and adding to inflation. Secondly, laying the foundations for growth in our economy with a focus on energy, industry and particularly the care economy. And then thirdly, doing what we can to make our people, our budget and our economy more resilient to the types of international economic shocks that we are becoming more and more accustomed to. Before I take your questions, I wanted to flag the release of some upcoming reports in the coming days and weeks. First of all, as you know, I've received the report from the review panel. The Reserve Bank review panel have provided their report to me. I've had some discussions with Governor Lowe about the contents of the report. Before long, I want to have a discussion with the opposition and ideally the crossbench about the contents of that report as well. I intend to confer with my colleagues as well, but I wanted to flag that I hope to be able to release the Reserve Bank review quite soon, ideally in the next week, but certainly in the next couple of weeks. That will be released with an initial view from the government about the 51 specific recommendations contained in the report. So that's the Reserve Bank. When it comes to the Economic Inclusion Advisory Committee, chaired by Jenny Macklin, as you know, we are obligated to release at least a couple of weeks before the budget a summary of the recommendations of that committee. I hope to be able to release that report quite soon as well, and to go beyond the obligations to release as much of that, if not the full thing, as I can. Again, ideally in the next few days, but certainly in the next couple of weeks, we will provide to you the report from that really important committee. I wanted to thank Jenny and all of the committee members for the work that they've put into it. We have received it. We do hope to release it quite soon. I wanted to flag that on Friday of this week in Brisbane, I'll be convening for the second time the Treasurer's Investor Roundtable, and the focus of this second discussion will be cleaner and cheaper energy, and particularly the investment climate in Australia and around the world when it comes to investing in cleaner and cheaper energy, broadening, diversifying our own industrial base to take advantage of the immense opportunities that come from the shift to net zero, and particularly in the context of developments in the US and around the world as well, which were a central part of the discussions that I had in Washington DC. We've made progress on the energy rebates, the household assistance for electricity bills. We've been working, as you know, for some months with our state and territory counterparts, recognising that there are different systems around the country, different pressures, different existing infrastructure when it comes to providing that assistance. And we are reaching the conclusion of those discussions. The energy assistance, household assistance and small business assistance will be a centrepiece of the May budget, but ideally I can update you on those negotiations with the states and territories before then, but certainly at the very latest in the budget, Australians will understand, depending on where they live in the country, what kind of assistance they will be receiving, who is eligible and how much assistance as well. The last point I wanted to make, and I thank you for your patience, is that I have now received advice from the Treasury about how we think differently about the commodity price assumptions in the budget. And as you know, as I've said publicly before and as I've said many times privately, there are good reasons to maintain a conservative and cautious approach when it comes to those commodity price assumptions. I've received the advice from the Treasury about how we would go about that. They've been consulting with industry and with other experts to make sure that that advice is well-founded, and it is. My inclination is to accept the recommendations of the Treasury when it comes to changing in a moderate way, in quite a restrained way, cautious, conservative way, the way that we go about making those commodity price assumptions in the budget. You will see that on budget night, how we've gone about that. But I had indicated to some of you previously that I would let you know when I've received that advice from the Treasury. It's come from the Treasury. They have a pretty firm view and a clear view that the time is right to change those assumptions. I've indicated throughout that my preference is they may remain conservative and cautious for good reason. I'm confident that the advice that they've provided is something that, or I'm inclined to accept the advice that I've been provided. We will finalise it between now and the budget, and you'll see it on budget night.